Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again. It's Sunday now. Sunday, big Sunday. It's time for Kelly's Corner. Without Sean or Bryce, it's time for Jai, the sports guy. He's flying solo this week. Jai, we got any special guests coming in today?
Yeah, we got my dad coming on.
All right.
I don't know. When he gets here, we'll get on. We'll talk some Eagles. We'll talk some basketball, college basketball, pro basketball. And maybe we can talk a little baseball, too. Spring training started for the Phillies. And don't know much Phillies, but we can talk with that, too. He knows a lot more Phillies than I know.
All I know, Jai, it's March 2nd. It's that time of, it's the best month for college basketball.
Yeah, it is. March Madness coming up. Conference tournament started, and we're going to have some good teams in there.
How about Wichita State's 31-0, man?
31. That's a great season for a team like that. I mean, a team like that, you don't expect to go undefeated. Well, I mean, I didn't expect them to go undefeated. They made it to the Final Four last year. I mean, their conference isn't the strongest conference, but still. I mean, they have good players. They can shoot threes. They don't. I mean, the way they played yesterday, you play like that through the entire tournament, they can make a run again.
Absolutely.
You have a good team. Don't know many players on that team, but they're going to make a good run, I think. It's going to be a good season for them. It was a good season for Wichita State, and the tournament's just going to depend on what's going to come down. And once again, it's not open this year. I mean, it's anybody's game this year. In the last couple of years, you could tell there's that one team who's going to take the tournament. They're going to win it. This year is different. This year, any team could have it. I mean, whoever comes out there every week, every day for the tournament, plays hard, goes for every rebound, every loose ball, and hustles, they're going to win the championship. And I think, in my opinion, it's going to come down between a team. There's always those dark horses you have to watch out for. And this year, I think it's going to be Wichita State. They're not the dark horse this year, but, I mean, they have a good ball club.
Right.
And maybe a team like, I don't know. You haven't heard much about Gonzaga this year. They played last night. I think they lost 25-6. That's 3 straight 25-win seasons for them. And they got a good squad. I think between Gonzaga and teams such as Duke, Syracuse, Florida. Florida's number one right now.
Right.
I think Florida most definitely is going to the Final Four. National championship team, I'm not so sure about.
Right.
Definitely the Final Four, though.
Well, I was listening to ESPN radio last night. They pretty much say that the top 4 teams are already locked in.
Pretty much, yeah. You got it locked in. I mean,
even Syracuse, stumbling there the last
they said
6 games.
They said Kansas might take that seed now. Kansas, I mean, Andrew Wiggins. We had this discussion last week. He's good, but I don't think he's the truth. He's not what everybody said he was. But I mean, the kid can ball. He can shoot.
Right.
He can dunk. Still would take Jabari over him any day.
Gotcha. Hey, what was your take on the whole Allen Iverson third time's a charm retirement party?
Allen Iverson, I think, for a guy like AI, such a Philadelphia legend, the things he did for the city, won the finals. They didn't win the finals. They got to the finals. They won the finals. They didn't win the finals. They got there, though. But, oh, shoot.
Yep.
Not bad. It was a good squad they had that year. Between Mutombo, AI, they played Kobe and Shaq. And I think, like I said last night, they didn't have Shaq. I think they would have won the NBA championship that year.
Right. Because what I heard was, in that draft year, when it was Kobe, it was AI. Basically, they built the team kind of around Kobe, giving him a Shaq, giving him a Derek Fisher, the outside shooter.
Yeah.
And who was the guy that just hit the threes? Robert Horry. The 3 machine.
They had I think
Iverson didn't have that.
Yeah, it was just AI. It was AI. Then they got Mutombo, so it was AI Mutombo against Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
And this was a point in time where Shaq was just Shaq.
Right.
Nobody was stopping Shaq in 2001.
And they gave him Sean Bradley. Good luck with that.
Yeah, they gave up. I think AI, if he had stayed with Philly and not wanted to leave and all that, he'd have been a good player. Do I think he should have left Philly? Honestly, I don't. He went to Memphis, washed up, and I forget where else he played. And washed up again, went bankrupt. But the Philadelphia fans still love him. And that's what I like about Philadelphia. No matter what happens, if you contribute to the team somehow, some way, they will always love you. Right. Always.
The thing was, he gave it every night. He did not slack. He did not say, I'm taking tonight off.
Yeah.
When when Coach Brown sat him for 3 minutes a game because he had to, because AI would not, would never seat himself.
Yeah, he was always a team player. I mean, the one outburst about practice, you got to let go. I mean, do I think you should have missed practice? Honestly, I don't. I mean, you should have went to practice. You're the star player. You have to go to practice. I mean, God forbid LeBron missed practice. We'd have the whole world in a frenzy because the man missed practice. I think even though AI had his ups and downs in Philly, his publicity scandals, what team doesn't have a publicity scandal? He was a good player, and the Philadelphia fans are grateful and appreciate for that. I'm grateful, even though I was too young to understand. Now I look back at it. I'm thankful we had AI. Guys such as AI shaped Philadelphia basketball. I mean, they lost 100 straight games, but I don't really care about that. As long as Philadelphia goes out there, they can blow it this season. They get those draft picks next year, build up around them. Honestly, thinking about 5-6 years, they all stick together. They have a championship team.
Right.
Most definitely championship team.
It was fun. I mean, that run that he gave us for those 6 or 7 years that we were contending.
Yeah, and then
it's definitely a roller coaster of.
Then we hung up. We gave up AI. Gave up. I don't know who else we gave up. Gave up AI. Gave up Andre Iguodala, Andre Miller.
Yes.
Players that were influential to making that Sixers team. Who that Sixers team was are now gone.
And I think they're just putting way too much pressure on Carter Williams to
be
the next.
He's a rookie.
He's not an AI.
Yeah, he's not going to go out there and drop 60. He might go out there and give you a 30, 35-point game. But at Syracuse, the advantage he has over most point guards is at Syracuse, Jim Boeheim's point guards are 6'5", 6'6". They are big boys. They're not little 5'6" fast dribblers. They can dribble. They have handle. They can shoot. They can rebound. They have the team of trees, as I call them. They're 6'5" and over. I mean, Michael Carter Williams is not afraid to go in there and get a rebound. He'll go in there amongst the big boys and grab a board. He's not afraid to take the contact. He knows. I think he knew when he came to Philadelphia, the first couple of games started losing, I think he realized this is my team. And he's so far as a rookie shown me that he has the skill and the talent to do what they need him to do. He'll get the boards. He'll shoot. He'll assist. He'll even throw it down on you if he has to. If he comes down on the break and you're in his way, he's going to dunk it. Right. And there's no way around it. I mean, AI was good, but AI is not going to come down there to the paint and slam it down on you. I mean, he might hit you with a reverse layup or a pull-up for a jumper, cross you over. He's not going to dunk it. Michael Carter Williams will come down. He's not afraid to dunk it. He's not afraid to go in there amongst a Dwight Howard and a LeBron and grab a rebound. And that's what I like about Michael Carter Williams. Right. That's where he has an edge over AI. AI was a better ball handler. He was a better shooter. He was able to give out more assists. Michael Williams is a tough point guard, and that's what the league is fitting into. If you are not tough in the NBA, you won't make it.
Right.
Pulling up Ray Allen and them are different. Ray Allen and them shoot the lights out the gym. But I mean, guys like, you have a Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant might not be the buffest guy on the court, but he'll still go out there. He'll go in there. He's not afraid to rumble either. Right. I mean, and that's where I start to like college sports more than pro sports. In college sports, you're going to go out there. College is just straight, we're going to get the rebound. We're going to come down the floor. Everybody's going to play lockdown defense, and we're going to go out there. We're going to try to score. NBA is more, all right, you missed. I'll grab the rebound, throw it to the guy at half court. He's going to dribble a couple times, pull it for a three he might not make. The board comes off. He's going to grab the board, dribble down, and throw up an alley-oop. I don't want to see alley-oops. In the All-Star game, it's cool. Outside of that, I don't want to see you throw alley-oops. I don't want to see you dunking on somebody, and I honestly don't care about it. In the game, you have to play team basketball. And if you don't play team basketball, you won't win. The Heat, I don't like the Heat. I'm not a big LeBron fan. But the Heat play team basketball, and that's why they've won back-to-back NBA championships. The Thunder could have done it, but they won. Russell Westbrook tries to outdo Kevin Durant, and that's their problem. Right. You try to outdo Kevin Durant, and you see what happens. You get whooped in the finals by a team that have been playing together. They lost in the finals the year before that. LeBron got there. I'm not losing this time. Westbrook was like, all right, I got to put this team on my back. In reality, everybody in the world knows it's Kevin Durant's team. That was just a bad idea.
Right.
But, I'm off that topic now. So, we can take a quick break, I guess.
Yep, we'll take a
quick break. We'll be back more with, I guess you call it Jai's Corner today.
There you go.
Powered by Virtua Sports Medicine.
1031 WTSL Total Sports Live. Make your next outing at the virtual Total Turf Experience Indoor Sports Complex. Schedule a birthday party or business event. The perfect place to make your special occasion even more special. Visit us online at totalturf.net. 1031 WTSL Total Sports Live. Live with no delay means you can listen while you're inside the complex, outside watching a game, or in your car. South Jersey's only indoor sports radio, 103.1 FM, WTSL Total Sports Live. WTSL Total Sports Live. From the Virtua Total Turf Experience Indoor Sports Complex, you're listening to Total Sports Live. The most comprehensive coverage of local South Jersey sports, it's Total Sports Live.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back.
Yes, we are.
Jai's Corner. Jai, the sports guy.
Yes, we're back. Special guest here is my dad, Brent McNair. Lifelong Eagles fan, people. He's been here the whole struggle. He saw the ups and the downs of Philadelphia sports. He watched the Eagles win 10 games, and he watched the Eagles lose 10 games in a row. They've been to the Super Bowl when he was alive. I don't know if he was alive when they won the last World Championship, as they call it, but, he's been here for the whole ride. Die-hard Philadelphia sports fan, even if they suck. There's not much to talk now. Doesn't want to talk Sixers. I know he doesn't like the Sixers right now. He's more football oriented, so we're gonna talk some football. They're out of season, I know, but with the drama going on in the NFL, the rule changes, Richie Incognito, Jonathan Martin. Dad, what's your take on this new N-word law by the NFL? Do you think it's a good take?
I think you're trying now to police what guys say on the field. You say they can't hit above the shoulder pads, they can't hit below the knee pads, they can't do this, they can't do that. Now they can't say certain things. Who's going to be assigned to make sure that they don't say the N-word? Like, whose job is that going to be?
I think, personally, I don't think it's a good rule. Now, the reason I don't think it's a good rule is because regardless if you get kicked out, you're still going to say it. Nobody's going to stop you from saying the N-word or cursing on the field. It happens all the time. You can hear it on TV sometimes. You light somebody up. What are you supposed to just get up and just walk back to the huddle? It's being out there. I can tell you first, it's just as bad as you think. You might not think it's that bad. It's worse. It's really, it can get out of hand at times. There's pushing and shoving, but it's football. It's rough. It's supposed to happen. You ban the N-word. What's next? You're gonna tell the guys they can't tackle the quarterback, or
they do that already. You can't tackle here. You can't tackle there.
Yeah,
so they've done already.
Running back gets the ball. You can't tackle the running back. It's gonna be flag football in about 5 years. People.
I agree.
Don't be surprised if you see flag NFL football, and I don't think it's not a good idea at all. But we'll get off that. We'll talk some Eagles now. So, Dad, what's your take? What do you think the Eagles should go with in this draft?
I think the Eagles need to look at defense in the draft. More than anything else, the offense is already, locked up. They signed Kelsey, they signed Jason Peters, they signed Jeremy Maclin, Riley Cooper. So they made their moves on offense.
Yeah, they did.
I think the draft really needs to address the defensive side of football. Safety, I'm looking at a safety, definitely a safety.
Yeah, I think being an Alabama fan, I think it's more biased for me, but I think Clinton Dix, the safety, at Alabama, he's a hard hit. He likes to track the ball. I think in this defense, he's a good fit. Now, Philadelphia sports teams have a history of bad drafts. Okay, that's no surprise. Andy Reid would pick up some player who nobody's ever heard of. He's a talent unknown to anybody, and the talent will come out and get cooked his first NFL play. That can't happen this time. I think if we set the defense up, we have our line set, our linebackers. We get these defensive backs set and ready to go. we could make a serious run in the playoffs. I think, personally, a serious run. I mean, not Super Bowl, NFC Championship game. And everybody knows the team for the next couple of years to beat. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers and the Seahawks. It's coming down to those two teams maybe for the next couple of years. If the Eagles can figure it out before, I think they figure out before these next couple of years, maybe the next 2-3 years, they pick up these defensive backs with Shady and Nick Foles and everybody. I think we're ready to go.
You watch lots more college football, Jai, than I do.
Yeah, I do.
So who do you have on your radar as being someone that Eagles should look at on the defensive backfield?
Well, when you watch college football, not that many deep balls get thrown, so you have more linebackers. So I can tell you more linebackers in this. Well, defense in college football really goes under the radar anyway. I mean, defensive backs don't really get the appreciation they should. You're out there. It's not easy to run with a receiver 20 yards who might be bigger and faster than you. It's really not that easy. So when you run with him, the few times the ball does get thrown to him, you have to try to knock it down. And you knock it down, they say, "Oh, it's a good job." But they don't understand how hard it is to actually knock the ball out the air. And I mean, the Eagles' defensive backs problem that we faced was receivers would cook us too easy, and we'd get down, and then we'd have to rely on Shady and Nick Foles to lead this miraculous comeback. With 9 minutes left in the fourth, 2 timeouts, you have to go, you have to score 2 touchdowns, and now Nick Foles can score. That was who was on the playoffs. He scored the touchdown. Shady scored the touchdown.
Right.
And the Eagles gave up a bad kick return, and the defense didn't stop anybody.
Right, yeah, I mean, basically when Nick Foles left the field, the Eagles were winning.
Yeah, they were winning by, 2 or 3 points, and then they lost. I mean, it's kind of like, in the Super Bowl. You want to blame Pitman. It's not Pitman's fault. He didn't tell the defense to go up there and give up 30, 40-something points.
Right, I agree.
They weren't winning it all in the game, but still, you got to play defense. Defense wins championships, and nobody wants to understand that. You come to a game, you don't care about the defense. You don't care about who's the middle linebacker or the outside linebacker or the strong safety. You want to see Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Sean McCoy and Arian Foster, Adrian Peterson. You want to see these guys who score touchdowns. You can honestly care less about who your starting secondary is. I mean, most people only know the starting secondary if you're a diehard fan or if you see it on Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Outside of that, I don't think anybody really cares, and that's not good. Because, being an Eagles fan, I can tell you that the Eagles secondary gets cooked. I think our high school secondary is better than the Eagles secondary.
Oh, my goodness. I wouldn't go that far to say that.
I would go that far. I hate to say it.
You're in love with Paul VI. You think they're the best football team ever.
No,
they're not.
Okay, I'm sorry, but Patrick Chung got cooked.
I agree. I don't know
who Patrick Chung got cooked. Okay. I think our best cornerback was what's his name? Brandon Boykin, who had the interception in Dallas.
Yeah.
Best game season for every Eagles player. But I think he's the only one I think they should let everybody else go. In this draft, you don't focus on anything else but defensive backs. You get your defensive backs, and even though they're rookies, you train them what they need to do, they're going to win a championship. When? I don't know.
But I think part of the issue with that is that when they look at the draft, they look at the best available player that's on the board at that time.
Yes, that's the problem.
And so that's going to always be a situation.
You have teams like the Raiders and who get multiple number 1 picks who wash up and don't become anybody. And what you need is a guy like long-term, like Tom Brady. Tom Brady was a backup. Tom Brady didn't start. What's his name? Drew Bledsoe.
If Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, you never heard of
Tom Brady. Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt. Tom Brady doesn't get
if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt.
Tom Brady just lucked out that Drew Bledsoe got hurt, and he came in. Everybody was like, "Oh, who's this guy? Tom Brady? Oh yeah, we're gonna keep him."
Right.
Eagles haven't really had that guy yet. There's not that one guy who's been like, "Oh, who's this?"
I agree with that. I agree. You don't have that guy yet.
My dad sees the struggle. He's seen the Eagles, when they were on top of the world, the first miracle at the Meadowlands, and then he watched, the Eagles come out and get romped 3 weeks later by whoever they might have played. I don't know. I think, long story short, the Eagles need players who, in the long term, can get them there, can get what they need. They can get the job done. Anybody who can get the job done, I want on my team. Anybody who can intercept the ball, anybody who can sack the quarterback. I'd rather personally focus on defense. I'm more defensive-minded. Scoring, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. Who doesn't want to score? But if you can stop the other team from scoring, you're going to win. If you want to go out there and give up 40 points a game and make Nick Foles have to come out and try to throw 7 touchdown passes, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to play quarterback in the NFL because you lose and all of a sudden it's your fault. No, it's the secondary's fault for getting cooked every time they went back to throw the football. I mean, if you drop back 8 times and throw a 50-yard bomb 8 times, our secondary is going to get cooked 7 out of the 8 times. The one time we might get an interception or a lucky tip, outside of that, it's going to be a completion. And it's honestly a shame to say that. But, I mean, that's what it comes down to. The Eagles, I mean, they've let us down the past couple of years. Don't get me wrong. Andy Reid left. That kind of made everything easier. We got Chip Kelly. Everybody thought the Eagles were just going to, I don't know, tank it this year. And they didn't tank. They made the playoffs. Got knocked out in the first round, but at least they made the playoffs. I mean,
but I don't think I saw Chip Kelly from the very beginning. I didn't think I don't think he wanted to tank at all. I think the Eagles.
No, I think
fans thought about tanking because they thought the new coach and new whatever.
Yeah, new
but
system.
I don't
everything.
see that. The Eagles came in from the beginning and not trying to tank.
Yeah, they were trying to go out there and gun. I mean, I thought when they won that game in Dallas, I said if they played that way the whole season, we wouldn't have been in that situation. If you hadn't have lost that game, you came out there in the snow, played a heck of a game against Detroit, and then come out here in the dome indoors and get blown out by who else than the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings of all teams get blown out by a week after such a great game. I mean, the Eagles, they're inconsistent. I think that's the problem. They're inconsistent.
Well, obviously. I mean, I think they're very inconsistent last season, the defensive backfield, but they got better as the season went on. Because, right now, I'm looking at the Eagles draft position. They're number 22 in the draft.
Number 22, yeah.
In the first round, the mock draft, one of the millions of mock drafts, has them picking Calvin Pryor, safety out of Louisville.
I'm telling you, I think if Clinton Dix is on the board, you take him because the boy likes to hit. He can catch and he likes to hit, and that's what a safety needs to do. We need a safety that likes to catch and likes to hit.
And who you say that was?
He came out of Alabama. He won. He won the 2 rings. I think 3 rings. I don't know. I think he won 3 or 2. I forget. But he won conference championships. He's been in bowl games. I mean, I don't remember the last time Alabama played in just a regular bowl game. So all their players have experience, whether it be the Fiesta Bowl, the Sugar Bowl, or the National Championship. They're ready to go. They've been playing under such stages since they were in high school. Right. So I think they're ready to go. If the Eagles can get it together in these next 3 to 4 years, like I said before, we have a championship team, no doubt. I think there's. I mean, you can say that there's no doubt, but anything can happen. You have injuries that can happen. Yeah, but I mean,
if players re-signing different teams, whatever. But yeah, as they constitute themselves right now, they seem they have a pretty good nucleus to build on.
Yeah, Nick Foles. I mean, played good. Great job for a kid to come in here with a new system. Comes in here as a rookie, plays on a bad team, has to learn a new system the next year. He played pretty good. Shady did his job. I think maybe they should let go of Mike Vick, open up some more salary room.
No, well, Mike's. I believe Mike's come back. Mike's a free agent, correct? So Mike's not under the salary cap at all. He's looking. There have been rumors talking about him going to
the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. I don't see it.
Because they didn't have Geno Smith, and I don't want to hear more pretty boy drama up there about who's our starting quarterback going to be.
Well, I think if the Jets did get Mike, they know that Mike would be going there for just a stopgap situation. He would go there just probably to give Geno Smith some time to get ready to be a good pro quarterback and learn from it. But I don't think he would go there.
It's not necessarily the player all the time. The player can go to a bad team. I mean, if you're the number 1 overall pick and you go to the Raiders are going to win maybe 3 games in a season. It's not your fault that they won 3 games. If you play, I don't know, if you're a linebacker, let's go with a wide receiver or a quarterback, the first overall pick, it's not your fault if you guys only win 3 or 4 games. I mean, if you drop every ball they throw at you, then it is your fault. But I mean, if you go out there and give everything you got and you only win 3 games, you have no reason to be upset. You're probably going to get another number 1 overall pick. You get another number 1 overall pick. You take a quarterback who can play. More preferably, you'd luck out if the number 1 quarterback was somebody you already played with at some point in time, so you already know how it works, and then you go out there and you start winning games. I mean, that's part of I don't know, I want to go back to the Sixers real quick. That's part of their problem. The Sixers have a team full of nobodies who've never played before, so that's their problem.
But I think that's their idea. Their idea was this season was a tank.
It was terrible.
They didn't have any idea.
The tank has lost 13 games in a row, and
But I don't think they really care. Like, they're not trying to make the playoffs. They don't care what happens. Their record is important to them. They want to get the number one overall draft.
We'll get out the Super. You know, we can talk the tournament. You know, maybe when we come back from break, we can talk some NCAA tournament. Coming up in the next 2-3 weeks, March Madness starts in a couple of days. Big tournaments, big time teams, and we'll just see which team comes out the best. So when we come back to Jai's Corner, we're going to talk NCAA tournament. So this is Jai's Corner, powered by Virtua Sports Medicine.
103.1 FM, WTSL, Total Sports Live. 103.1 WTSL, Total Sports Live. Sports Radio 103 WTSL. Get ahead of the game and get your team gear at the local legend, Sports Paradise, located exclusively inside of the Virtua Total Turf Experience Indoor Sports Complex. Open every day, not just game days. WTSL Total Sports Live. From the Virtua Total Turf Experience Indoor Sports Complex. You're listening to Total Sports Live. The most comprehensive coverage of local South Jersey sports. It's Total Sports Live. WTSL Total Sports Live. From the Virtua Total Turf Experience Indoor Sports Complex. You're listening to Total Sports Live.
We're back with Jai, the sports guy. What's up, Jai?
How you doing, Joe? Okay. So we're going to talk a little bit of NCAA tournament now. I think this tournament this year is going to be one of the best tournaments we've seen in a while. The door is open for anybody. If you have a team full of decent ball players this year, I think this year is all for you. I mean, you got a team like, at the start of the year, if I told you Wichita State was going to go 31-0, you probably would have laughed at me, and really probably laughed hard.
Very much so.
And now you see Wichita State went 31-0, and everybody's like, oh, well, you know, I knew that we were going to go 31-0 the whole time. And half you guys didn't know who Wichita State was until they made it the Final Four last year. I mean, last year it was kind of obvious who your number one seeds were going to be. I kind of knew Louisville was going to win it after Kevin Ware got hurt, because a team off of straight emotion is not going to lose. A team coming off of emotion for any reason is going to win, and they're determined to win. Louisville was determined to win. This year, there's not that one team that there's not that team that you see separate themselves from the pack. Like Kentucky 2 or 3 years ago separated themselves. They were hungry for it. They wanted it, and they went out and they got it. I mean, I'm reading here. It says that Florida, not exactly what you want to hear about many teams were thinking. Florida is the number one seed this week. I mean, a team like Arizona, who's not a bad ball club, don't get me wrong, they got their fair amount of players. They got good players. Aaron Gordon. I mean, I think he's probably going to be done after this year, but still.
Chester's own.
And Chester's Rondé Jefferson.
Rondé Jefferson got to always give a shout out to the hometown team.
Okay, but I mean, this year's teams are tough. I mean, Florida, you have Scotty Wilbekin.
Right.
And at Duke, you have Jabari Parker. Kansas, you have Andrew Wiggins. North Carolina, they have some good ball players. Syracuse has Tyler Ennis, who I think honestly should be the
You can't just run over Tyler. I was waiting for you to get to Syracuse. Syracuse lost again yesterday.
Yes,
How many losses is that in a row? Is that their?
That's their, I believe, second or third loss in a row.
Yeah, I mean, Syracuse looked like a month ago. Syracuse looked like the team to beat, and lately they have fallen on some really hard times. But I remember when they won the last game that they won. I can't remember who they played.
Might have been
It was a close game, and Jim Boeheim said at the press conference, that he's had a couple tough games where his teams pulled out in the last couple of seconds, and those games could well have been losses. Well, now those games are losses. They're not winning the close games now.
I think.
But I don't count them out of the tournament. I mean, you're going to count them out with that 2-3 defense, with that 2-3 zone? You can't count
2-3 zone. Well, they've lost 3 or 4 games in a row, so the 2-3 zone honestly hasn't done much.
It hasn't done much in the last couple of games.
Last couple of games, the 2-3 zone with your trees hasn't really done anything because people still score points. Virginia came in there yesterday and shot the lights out.
That's how you beat a 2-3 zone, is you shoot the lights out. But how many teams are going to shoot the lights out every night?
I mean, you get to the tournament, and now you have Syracuse. If Syracuse keeps playing around, they're going to lose to a 16 seed or
It
whatever.
could happen. It could happen.
Hey, if you
They
lose
could
to a
get knocked
16
out.
seed, people are going to be like, oh, well, you guys were the team to beat 2 or 3 years ago. I mean, excuse me, 2 or 3 weeks ago, you were the team to beat. Now, you lost to a team, I don't know, some team from the middle of Idaho.
That's why it's called March Madness, because 64 teams, any team can win
but
one game.
You have to
it's a one
agree
and
that
done,
the
basically.
past couple of years, there's been that team who's like, all right, everybody's seen this team. All right, with Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and all them. Oh, okay, this is the team to beat. This team is gonna run from the pack. You had the best player in the country. You had the guards in the country. You had the best forward of the country. You had the back-to-back. The whole starting five, I think, got drafted in the first round.
I agree.
Okay.
That there is no clear-cut
Now
team
this year,
I
there's
agree.
no team that's gonna come out there and just go out there and blow everybody out by 50 points.
I agree.
I mean, the best team, honestly, I think that's a chance for that. It's either going to be Duke, Florida, Arizona, or maybe if Kansas can get their stuff together, it might be Kansas.
Okay. You obviously did it again. How do you overlook Creighton?
Doug
Creighton's not.
McDermott is going to. He's not going to. Doug McDermott, yeah, all right, he's good in conference play. He's not going to be able to carry that team by
How do you know
himself
that?
to the
They
front.
haven't played yet.
They're going to run into a roadblock. There's going to be that one team who's ready to go. And Doug McDermott, all right, yeah, you can shoot threes. Okay. If you put a diamond, whatever it's called, on Doug McDermott will not score more than 20 points. If Doug McDermott comes out here and wins the national championship, I might never watch college basketball ever again. Because it would just be a great miracle. It'd be a miracle. I mean, there's not that one player I've seen in the country that is, I mean, you got Jabari Parker, but I mean, he's not Final Four. I'll take the team to the Final Four on my back material. I mean, because even if he comes back, I think if he comes back, if Clint Cook, I believe, who's a junior, stays another year, they have a chance next year. Because there's going to be, and then you have Jaleel Okafor and this other kid coming in, who are two, I watched them play the other day on their highlight tape, great players. I mean, it's
Okay. Look, you said it'd be a great miracle. I'm going to take you back a little before you were born.
1985 with Villanova
That is
and
correct.
Georgetown.
So anything could happen. So Creighton could get hot
Creighton.
and go through the tournament.
By
end
himself,
up being
I don't think so.
another Villanova.
I mean, people think what you want to think. Doug McDermott by himself this year, it's not happening. Not this year, at least. I don't know what he's a sophomore. He's not doing it again. I mean,
Well, okay. Right now, like I said, there is no clear-cut champion. There's no clear-cut winner. There's no clear-cut person in the head of the pack. Anybody can win this thing. Is wide open.
no, I think this year, if you had to write me down right now, people, come April, whatever, your Final Four, I believe it's going to be Syracuse, Florida. Maybe if Duke can get it together, Duke, and then you're going to have that dark horse, who honestly, even though I said earlier, I might have to go back and revert. I think it's going to be Wichita State. There's your Final Four. National championship game. I'd like to see Florida and Duke battle it out. And personally, I think Florida takes it by at least 4 or 5. It's going to be a close one. But Florida and Duke for your national championship. I'm calling that right here.
Well, there it is. You heard it, folks, on Kelly's
Heard it right
Corner with Jai the Sports Guy.
We'll be back after a short break.
Hey, Skippy, do you know what you're listening to? You're listening to Total Sports Live on demand. Thank you. Sports Radio 103 WTSL. If you like sports, you'll love this. You're locked into Total Sports Live.